February 12th, 2018. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We've got, looks like we have all kinds of thank yous this week, so I'm going to get right into those. Big thanks to Mozilla Tech speakers Trishul, Jayesh, and Bob, who on 3 separate occasions, Christy, and Visual Prasath, who spoke to developers and engineering students in India, Belarus, and the Philippines over the last week. We love our tech speakers out talking about all kinds of great Mozilla stuff, and last week was no exception. Thank you to everyone who spoke. And a huge thank you to our Mozilla reps from Belgium, Ziggy and Anthony, for their work in organizing our presence at FOSDEM in Brussels. Also, Maslov, and thank you to all speakers from the dev room. That's Jerv, Gloria, Daniele, Julian, Nicolas, Amit, Jean-Yves, Sylvestre, Florian, Mitchell, David, Florian, Fabian, Tillman, Larissa, Janice, and Don. Thank you to MCs from during the day in the room. That's Joanna and Alex. And thank you to all volunteers who were at the Mozilla booth during Saturday and Sunday. Everyone was traveling last week, so now that they're all settled, let's give them a big thank you for their awesome work on making FOSDEM and the Moz Room a success. All right. Sneaking a little refresh on the schedule there, just to see everyone else snuck in. On Tuesday, we have the Web Extensions APIs Triage meeting for people who are curious about what sorts of new APIs are going to be added to extensions in Firefox or want to advocate for a new extension. This is the meeting where some of those decisions are made, and there's a link in the wiki for more information. There's also our monthly speaker series, and that's going to be hosted from the Mozilla San Francisco space. And also live streamed on Mozilla and YouTube. And that is the speaker series, Finding Digital Equilibrium with Manoush Zamarodi, and that is he's a podcaster who has consulted with neuroscientists and cognitive psychologists about the ideas of mind wandering, what our brains do when we're doing nothing at all. And the TLDR is that technology is not going anywhere, so we need to learn a new way of living and working with it. So I'm looking forward to her talk, and you can check that out at 10 a.m. Pacific time. She'll be presenting, and I believe the host is, not sure if there's a defined host in the wiki today, but that's okay. It will be, you can check out the Mozilla or Speaker Series Slack or IRC rooms, and actually, she is on Twitter as Manoush HZ. So all kinds of cool stuff. Looking forward to this one. I think it's something we all deal with as Slack notifications pop into our timelines all day, how we redefine our relationship with distraction and all of our digital tools. So you should check it out. On Wednesday, we have the Add-ons community meeting, and that is at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that is discussing just a much broader scope of all the add-ons and extensions ecosystem. If it's something you're interested in, and that is the meeting for you, there's a link for more info. And we've got the Homebrew Website Club meetup in Amsterdam, and that is at 22 Central European Time, from 18 to 22 Central European Time. You should check it out. There's a link, of course, with more info. All right, and with that, I believe we have a fair number or a handful of speakers this week. Oh, look, everyone snuck onto the schedule. Cool. First up, we have Asa with the Firefox roadmap update.
Thank you, Poch. Good morning, afternoon, and evening. Firefox 5802 is our latest security and stability update. It shipped 5 days ago, and it includes a fix for the Hotmail Outlook links and scrolling issue that I mentioned last week. 59 is in its 8th beta. I think we have 14 scheduled and then a release candidate. 59 is scheduled to ship to release users on March 13th. In the last week, we've uplifted about 45 bugs to beta, including a fix for a macOS crash when changing network location, a fix for cookies not being set properly, and a fix for extension context menus on Android. Firefox 60 is in the nightly channel where all the exciting stuff is happening. It hits release on May 8th. Over the last week, the nightly channel has seen about 420 changes, including a fix for the Windows volume mixer, creating multiple controls. So if you opened up your volume mixer and you saw 5 or 6 different Firefox volume controls, we were creating one for each tab, and that's been fixed. Activity Stream on new tab page has a wider layout, so we show more top sites, and the content for stories and highlights is expanded. This is really cool. You can actually read a little more of the excerpt from those stories and highlights than you could before. The fix for video tearing on Linux full screen mode has been implemented. We've got a new hidden pref to control whether to open address bar results in new tabs. We previously had a pref that managed the search bar, but not the address bar. This is mostly for extensions to set that pref. I think it was a popular feature in one of the extensions that was lost with the migration to web extensions, so good to see that back. The stub installer now downloads over HTTPS for added security. We support already enrolled U2F devices with Google accounts, which is very cool. There's a lot of demand for that out in the world. Firefox Screenshots got an update with a whole lot of bug fixes that I won't go into here, but you can click on the link to see some of those. And last but not least, a 16-year-old bug, 169521, in the XML serializer was fixed. So big round of applause for all that great work. See you next week.
Sweet 16, the present is you, but your bug gets fixed. Awesome. And next we've got Miriam giving the emerging technologies update.
Hello, hello. Last Tuesday, we had a major launch of our Project Things Gateway. That's part of the larger Project Things, and the response has been fabulous. We had over 2,200 downloads of the software in the first 6 days, and we actually see an active network of 300 gateways. That's not just people downloading it or flashing it locally, but actually we get a heartbeat of like, yes, somebody is running that this week. So we'll be keeping track of those numbers over the next several weeks. But press and social media pickup has been really outstanding. Thank you to a series of blog posts and coverage of the launch. Check out some of the links to talk about integrating your new device with the browser through add-ons and with various kinds of open hardware. So big thanks to that team and to marketing and to dev outreach and all of the many people who made that a success. Taking the guesswork out of browser compatibility, Mozilla Developer Networks unveiled the new Browser Compatibility Project, which transformed all of the browser compatibility tables on our documentation pages into an open and accessible database with an API that can actually be plugged into developer tools, sites, and even the command line. Better still, all of the data is being maintained by MDN and browser makers, so we'll be sure it's always up to date. It's a great tool. Please check out the blog post to learn more about how you can use that data and contribute to it. Thank you. And finally, royalty-free for all. AV1 was recently credited in this blog post with breaking the MPEG business model and bringing an end to proprietary, costly, and tightly controlled access for online media for consumers and creators. Read more about this frank recognition of AV1 in the blog post from Leonardo Ciarglione, chair of MPEG, A Crisis and a Solution. Stay tuned next week for some exciting mixed reality updates, among others. Thank you.
Thanks, Miriam. It's always nice when the chair of MPEG is like, "Oh man, MPEG is doomed." That's a nice. I'm not sure if that's a confirmation of success or just who knows. All right, but next up, I do know that we have Michael Van Cleek in San Francisco, it appears, giving the Weekly Minute. Hello.
Hi, Potch. Hi, everybody in San Francisco. Yeah, I'm out on the road this week, away from lovely Portland. We don't have a commons area in Portland right now, so we need to get down here to have some commons. We get it back in 3 weeks. So anyways, this is the weekly update from IT on the things that we're doing to support and empower all of Mozilla, the entire Mozilla community, in our mission to keep the web a global public resource, open and accessible to all. And this week, we got 2 things for you. First of all, the IT Brown Bags, we do them the 3rd Friday of every month. They're open to all Mozilla staff and NDA volunteers. They're broadcast on Airmo and the IT Operations channel and in the Brown Bags video room. This week, Josephine Learn and Heather Krintz are going to be presenting about the product owner process, including a trip through the product owner board game. So if you do anything with products, anything thinking about customers, trying to make sure that the technology you're doing maps to what people need, could be a good time for you to come and learn a thing or two. Come join us this Friday at noon. Pacific time, watch it recorded on Airmo, and participate in the discussions that we're having in the Mozilla IT Discourse channel. And secondly, the Mozilla Data Collective, that wonderful repository of stats, numbers, charts. It's so fun if you're a numbers geek to get in there. It's now open to NDA volunteers. Please visit the website, and you can log in if you're a volunteer using LDAP or your GitHub plus 2FA authentication. There's a ton of data in there about all things Firefox and Mozilla, and new data and reports are being shared regularly. Whether you're staff or volunteer, it's always fun to check out the MDC and gain new insights into what we do as Mozilla. So thank you very much.
Very cool. Thanks, Mike. And I believe I saw Liz. Yes, Liz Newton. Liz Newton hopped onto our agenda. So hello, Liz. How's it going?
Hello, Potch. I am great. The D&I team has been really busy in the first month, I guess, of 2018, planning all kinds of awesome stuff for the year ahead. And today, one of those awesome things is launching. It is the first round of outreachy for 2018, and applications have opened today. The process has changed quite a bit from previous rounds. So those who are familiar, it'll look a little bit differently this year. So Outreachy is a internship program for people who are underrepresented in tech. That's women and people who identify as female and non-gender binary across the world, and then people of color in the United States of all genders. And they will work on an open source project, and it can be any sort of project, and they work with a mentor to complete tests and hopefully build something really cool and get some open source experience. So the application period is 6 weeks long, and in the past we have listed our projects on our wiki, but the Outreachy program has a cool new website, and now you submit your proposal directly to Outreachy. So mentors will need to sign up on our Outreachy community page. We have been approved as of this morning, fully approved, so we're ready to go. And you'll define a project, and then you also define a smaller set of contributions that they can work on during the application phase. So I'll be sending out an email right after this with more information and the full process. So keep an eye out for that. We have 15 spots open, and if we have more than 15 project applications, we'll go through and choose 15 of those based on who has already reached out to me to get their projects up. And then Outreachy ultimately is the one who approves the projects or not. If there's any questions throughout the new application period, you can ping me on IRC or Slack, I'm LMN, or email me, and I'll help you with any questions, because it is quite a new process. And that's it for now.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz.
Thanks, Potch.
And next we have Mike Hoy in Toronto talking about the Google Summer of Code. Hello, Mike Hoy.
Hey, Potch, how are you doing today? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello.
Excellent, excellent. We have been accepted as an organization to participate this year in the Google Summer of Code. For the next couple of weeks, that means that we are going to be answering questions from students. So if you've got a project submission up there, you can expect those emails to start coming in, and figuring out what students and what efforts will be a good match for us. This is my son, Carter, who's homesick today. He would like to say hi to all of you.
Hi.
There we go. In the meantime, that is the schedule for the next month. The next major decision point in that process is on the 12th of March, and we'll have more information for participating project leaders at that point. But in the meantime, please look for emails coming from potential students, and please do your best to size them up and make them feel welcome here at the Mozilla Project. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great to hear. And we actually have one more update. And that is from Jess in San Francisco, talking about the periodic proclamation about analysts and researchers. Hello.
Hi. This is actually very short. The analyst and research community is meeting again tomorrow morning to talk about third-party vendor research and other topics of interest to the analysis and researchers, that's not parallel, in the Mozilla community. Looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you, Jess. And I think that is all of our speakers. So, but I'm trying to see if we have any new hire intros this week. It doesn't look like we do. All right. Well, maybe we'll have some new faces next week. With that, we are all finished. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week. Thanks for your updates. Have a fantastic week, and keep on rocking the free web. See ya.